Great leaders have the ability to speak, to share through words their vision and inspire people.
Your standards are your long-term indicator of success.
How do you take a small idea and turn it into a big idea? Take a small company, turn it into a regional player. Take a regional player, make it into a major multinational.
Need motivation?
Watch the top 10 of Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like na 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 na. For my top 10, top 10, na 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 na. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and chances are you are the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more. And you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Jordan Belfort, and my take on his top 10 rules to success. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Get into immediate rapport.
First goal in any conversation, which you must do, you must get into immediate, I'm going to use a word, it's a big word, you've all heard before, it's called rapport. With the straight line, the first thing you're going to learn to do using tonality and certain words, we'll go through them this afternoon, you're going to learn how to get into immediate rapport on both a conscious and an unconscious level. Conscious, oh yeah, wow, it makes sense to them. And unconscious, they're like, I just kind of like that guy. I can't tell you exactly why, but he sounds sharp. It sounds like a winner. You need to get into instant rapport, immediate rapport on both a conscious and unconscious level, so you can then open them up to being essentially what's called qualified. So you can actually find out, and in the straight line, qualifying is about not just what their needs are, it's their needs, what any pain they might have, okay? We gather intelligence. We don't just identify needs, we gather intelligence. You do that by getting into rapport with someone first. It's not like, let me gather intelligence first and then get into rapport. The first thing you need to do using tonality and certain words, we're going to learn how to do it, is to get into immediate rapport and then use that rapport to gather intelligence and move them down the straight line.
Rule number 2, master the art of ethical persuasion.
The biggest misconception is that persuasion is really for salesmen, that you learn to be a closer because you want to become someone who makes money selling stuff. And nothing could be further from the truth. Persuasion, among all skills, is the one that cuts through to every aspect of your life. And I don't care, you're a salesman trying to close a deal, you're an entrepreneur trying to sell the vision for the future that you have to your sales force, to your employees, to your customers. You could be a politician trying to sell your constituency on voting for you. You could be a pastor or a priest or a rabbi trying to, influence your congregation on the value of believing in God and a certain moral code. You could be a teacher trying to influence your students, a parent trying to influence your children to make their beds or do their homework. It goes on and on. I can go on and on and on. So persuasion is a skill that really, without it, I have to say good luck trying to really be successful in this world. It's certainly not the only thing that you need to learn, but you can have almost everything else in place. You could have the greatest idea. You could have the greatest strategies for marketing things. You can have the greatest work ethic. You could have your whole inner game set straight. We have a vision for your future, the whole 9 yards. But if you can't close the deal, or if you don't know how to speak to people in a way where they'll want to buy into your vision, and in a way that empowers them and moves them to take action, then good luck trying to get what you want in life. So what I want to really share with you today, and it's a very short time we have together, is this idea about ethical persuasion, ethical selling, and ethical influence. And there's a fundamental difference between ethical persuasion and what I was doing back in the day. And I'll tell you exactly what it is. It has very little to do with the system, the straight line system. That's not what it's about. It's about what your intent is. The biggest mistake that I made when I invented the straight line system back in 1988 is that it was so powerful and so effective at closing deals and getting people to do things that you wanted to do. But I didn't have the restraint to say, you know what, you're only supposed to use this to get people to do things they should be doing, to buy things they should be buying. At the cornerstone of ethical persuasion is this fundamental core concept that I will not persuade someone to do something that is not in their best interest. And that has to be like sort of really the cornerstone of everything that you do. It's not about I'm going to persuade this guy so I can make money, whether he needs my product or not, or I'm going to persuade this guy to buy 8 of these items when he only needs 2 because I can make more money if he buys 8. You get it? So it's and it's crucial because if you have that sort of gut check that I'm not going to use this to get people to do things they should not do, you're going to end up on the right side of things pretty much all the time.
Rule number 3, set your standards high.
Your standards are your long-term indicator of success. It's like your thermostat, your set point for wealth and success. It's your set point for success in sales. Let's say your standard right now in life is, I got to make $200,000. It's my financial standard. Guess what? That's all you'll make. You won't make more. You'll get to that point, you'll stop, you'll back off. It's like a thermostat. You know, in a house, if it gets too hot, what happens? The thermostat kicks in, it shuts off the boiler. If it starts to drop below, thermostat kicks back in, the boiler starts, and you heat back up. Same thing happens in your life as a salesperson, as an owner of a company. If your financial standard is low, you're never gonna be rich. You'll make money, you'll back off, and you'll always end up around your standard.
Rule number 4, learn to share your vision.
You might have this amazing, compelling, bold, bright vision for your future. It could be starting a small business. It could be starting a bigger business. It could be working in your community, helping people, assisting people who need to be educated and to be inspired. You could have this amazing vision of what you want to do. But if you don't have the ability to essentially get other people to listen to you, to share that vision, then you're a one-trick show. It's just you against the whole world. Great leaders have the ability to speak, to share through words their vision and inspire people. An example would be who? Nelson Mandela. It's the ability not just, you know, he could have had the greatest vision for South Africa to unite the country and to make it an amazing place. But if he couldn't share that vision with other people in a way that inspired them, that made them want to listen to it, that made them want to buy into it, meaning to become part of it with their time, their money, their hard work, then Nelson Mandela's vision could have never become a reality. So A, you need the vision, and then B, you get to learn, and there's a way I'm going to teach you how to share, how to actually, you know what it is really? It's called sales, selling, like being a salesperson, meaning it's not selling a product. Yeah, you could sell a product, but you also sell people ideas. You sell people on the value of education, on the value of having integrity, on the value of making money, on the value of working hard. Teachers, when you're in school, the teacher tries to sell you when you're a kid on do your homework, the value of doing your homework. Your parents say, go and clean your room. The people, you know, your counselor might say, you know, behave. They try to, they're selling you on their ideas, their concepts. Everyone get that? Yes? Raise your hand. Say yes. Awesome. So if you have a great vision, let's say, and we're going to do this today, we're going to actually, you're all going to develop visions for your future today, in this room. We're going to do it today in the room. So let's say you all have these great visions, but you can't do this. You don't know how to speak and share it, to sell people on the value of what you got. It's never, it won't become a reality. It'll always stay inside you. And you know, there's an expression we have in the United States. It's called people that can't express their vision, they die with their music on their lips. You know what that means? They never get to share it out. It stays inside them. The beauty of Nelson Mandela was not only was he a brilliant man up here with a bold vision, he had the ability to share it with everybody and inspire people and lead people.
Also, if you want to have more self-belief and self-confidence, I've designed a special free program to help you get it, where I send you a video every day for 254 days. The research says it can take up to 254 days for you to build a new habit, and this program will help you get it. Once again, it's free, and the link to join is in the description below.
The reason people aren't patient is they value other people's opinions too much.
I don't think we should drive for money. I think we should drive to be a better version of ourselves.
A good person in any endeavor will only take from it what they think they deserve.
Rule number 5, communicate with confidence.
I ensure that when I open up my mouth to talk to someone and explain what my company does, how we can help them, and I got like 5 or 6 seconds to say some buzzwords, they're going to be the best buzzwords. I'm going to say them in a way that exudes confidence, that just shows them that I'm on the ball, sharp as a tack. I'll say it with enthusiasm. So I do all this stuff. It's all prepared before I even walk in the door. So I pop into this rapport with them as a result of all this work I do. I use specific tonalities that show that say I care, that I'm just like you. So there's some common ground. And then I ask them for permission to ask questions.
Okay.
And I'll say, listen, just, I need to ask you a couple of quick questions so I can best serve you, or so I don't waste your time. One of the hugest mistakes that salespeople make is they're scared to ask questions to their clients. They feel like if they ask questions, they'll be too pushy or invasive. And in fact, if there's anything that makes you sound like a hard-charging, pushy salesman, is not asking questions. If you ask questions and you shut up and let them speak, how could you be pushy?
Yeah.
I say, so tell me, what's your big, let's say I'm trying to sell you on some system, an IT system. I say, so tell me, what's your biggest headache right now with the system you have? Got it. Not like, well, let me tell you about my system. My system is so good. It's X, Y, Z. It's B. And you start, that's what a pushy sales. I don't do that. I'm like, So tell me more about that. And I see, and if you don't change that, what do you think will be in 3 years? Will the problem be even worse? Oh, yeah, And I get them opening up, and they start talking and talking and talking. Yeah. And I'll actually exhaust a line of questioning, like ad nauseum, until I say, okay, great. Now, as far as this goes, what do you think? And I'll ask another question. And I get to this point where they unlock the keys to the kingdom. They'll tell you exactly what they need, exactly what their problems are, exactly where their pain is. And I'll give them little tidbits. I'll finish their sentences sometimes. Or if I know where they're going, I'll just give them a little bit. They'll say, ooh, wow, that guy, I won't say, I got your solution, I'm on the ball. I'll just give them a little bit that says, wow, this guy's not your typical guy. And every once in a while, I'll give a choice line in there that's prepared, that I had laid out in the language pad. And by the time I'm done, they're like, wow, man, this guy really is on the ball. Yeah. And I'll say, now, let me explain to you exactly what we have. I think it's a perfect fit for you. Yeah. I'll practice this, and then I'll make a very short, concise presentation. The other way, the hard-charging salesman, is just to talk, try to ram it down their throat. Yeah. That doesn't work.
Rule number 6, focus on value exchange.
When I was 25 years old and I was, making all this money on Wall Street, I thought that business was about making money, and it's really not. Business is about monetizing value. In other words, you have a product, an idea, a service that has value. It helps people. It resolves their pain. It helps people live better lives, more empowered lives. So they have something of value. The business is set up around that idea to monetize that value. How do you reach people in an effective way through proper marketing campaigns? How do you convince them, what influence them or persuade them to say, yes, I'm going to buy it and give it a shot because it makes sense to me, and get people to buy your product? Right? So this idea of how am I going to manufacture my product in a way that it's cheap enough so that I can make my margin and still has the value exchange. So business is about monetizing value. So what I want you to focus on as you sell, and we're going to get off this sort of the ethical stuff in a second. We'll go into the actual sales stuff, but just remember this. Make sure that you're focusing on the value exchange. The equation I try to run in my mind today is my own gut check, is that if I charge someone $1 for something, I try to give them at least $5 or $10 in value. I want every person that I sell something to, that buys my programs or my product, whatever it might be, I want them to say, wow, that's a lot more value than I thought I was getting. And if for some reason that it turns out that they don't like a product I have, well, I want to refund their money like that. I don't want any unhappy people in this world. I want people to spread the message because I know that's good business. That's how I make money. And it's also right. It also feels good. It's good karma. And it's all part of me sort of living an empowered life where I succeed, but all those around me succeed as well.
Rule number 7, commit to ideas that work.
Commit thyself to mastering on succeeding wildly, meaning, what do you do when the shit is right? What do you do when your idea works? How do you take a small idea and turn it into a big idea? Take a small company, turn it into a regional player. Take a regional player, make it into a major multinational. The rules for failing elegantly and succeeding well are almost diametrically opposed. They're opposites. You have to know how to do both. But I want to highlight to you how important it is to understand when you go into business, you need to focus on these two things. A, go into it with your eyes open, knowing that you're probably not right in the first evolution of your idea about how great it is. And go into it and learn how to fail elegantly. And then on the flip side, when you get it right, understand what steps you have to take to succeed wildly.
Rule number 8, re-examine your values.
The things I did really, really bad and what caused me to crash and burn was number 1, values. I had bankrupt, upside down values. 15 years ago, if you would have asked me what my number 1 value was, I would have said money, making money. Number 2 was power. I want more and more power. Number 3, sex, with as many partners as I could, despite the fact I was married. It's disgusting, but it's true. That was one of my values, to be cool. That was connection to me. Number 4 was drugs, getting high. Number 5 was spirituality, although it was mostly in the form of drug-induced hallucinations, right? I was seeing spirits, right? And number 6 was family. Now, I had a daughter, and I still do, and a son. I'm very close to them now, but back then, I thought I was the greatest dad. I had tons of money. We're in a big mansion, lots of property with armed bodyguards around, and I thought I was great because I was giving them the life. Private schools, nice clothes. Meanwhile, my daughter's on the swing set saying, "Daddy, come out and play." And I'm in the closet smoking a crack pipe, thinking I'm a good dad. Because my value of getting high was above children. See, our values are our targets in life. We always look to hit our values. If those are your values, no offense, it's still screwed up values, right? Those values are the worst. Those values will lead you to a life of pain. And that's why I had pain. I soared fiscally because I had the system, those 4 things at the highest level. And if you look at your own life, I'm sure you'll see if you're doing anything really well, you're doing those 4 things at the highest level. If you're doing kind of well in something, maybe you're doing some but not the others. And if something in your life is a disaster, you're probably not doing any of those 4 things.
Rule number 9, pay attention to tonalities.
Tonality is the hidden language of influence, meaning the words, and you've probably heard this somewhere, that words make up only 10% of what you say, okay? And just to clarify that doesn't mean that the words are not important. In fact, when you're speaking, every word is crucial. But the point I'm making is very often we're communicating without speaking through our tonality and our body language. In terms of tonality, how we say things make a massive difference in how they're perceived by the person that we're saying them to. For instance, when I was growing up, my mother would say, "Jordan," means where are you? Or "Jordan, I'm in trouble." When I say to someone, "John, this is an absolutely amazing opportunity," I put that bottled enthusiasm. It's absolutely amazing. Before I say, "Oh, John, this is an amazing opportunity," one of them has that emotion, that enthusiasm, that certainty built in there, and it moves someone emotionally. So the words move someone logically, but my tonality moves them emotionally. And that goes through the entire conversation. That this tonality that usually keeps people interested, hanging up. You're just like, remember the Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the teacher, okay, everyone open up your books to page 5, that's the teacher, and you watch the kids as he's speaking, they're all drooling because they're bored to death, right? That's monotone. By modulating, raising your voice, lowering your voice, speaking very quickly, and then slowing down. By modulating, by using certain tonalities. In fact, there are 10 tonalities, like a core influencing tonality. Like, oh my God, 10? How do I learn them all? You're already using them. Just so you know, you use them all the time. You just don't know it. You use these tonalities by accident.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is focus on your vision.
Vision focus. It's not just vision. It's part vision, meaning, do you have a compelling vision for the future? something that's bold and bright and that empowers you, meaning that when you actually think about it or when you hopefully read it back to yourself, because you should have your vision statement written down and kept close by at all times. In fact, in my life, when I felt like I was wavering, I would keep my vision on my smartphone screensaver. So every time I opened up my phone, I saw it. There's a tip for you. It's powerful stuff. The more you look at it, the more you think about it, the more you think about it, the more you act on it, and the rest takes care of itself if you're committed to learning the rules of business and closing and blah, blah, blah. Everyone get that? Yes? Louder, yes? Yes, okay, perfect. So, on the sheet there, you'll see it says something about vision. I don't want you to write your vision statement now because we don't have time. I want you to write these words. In 5 years, write this down. In 5 years, I see myself. In 5 years, I see myself. And now for the next few seconds, close your eyes and just think about and be bold and bright. Where do you see yourself living? What kind of work you do? What kind of company do you have? How you communicate with your people you love, your kids, your wife? What charities are you giving to? What vacations? You know, it's got to be big, and it's got to be big and make you feel inspired. If you look at your vision and it doesn't make you want to jump out of bed, it's missing a why and it's too small. Everyone knows Nelson Mandela, right? Yes. Nelson Mandela, famous line, don't play small. There's no nobility in life in playing small. He said, play big and get strong, educate yourself. And he was a master of persuasion and had the skills to back it up as a politician, as a business person, as a visionary, inner, outer game. Make sense? Yes? Okay? On this thing, give yourself a score. Okay, let me, once I stop, I want to just, the second half, sorry, I jumped ahead here. Focus, vision focus, meaning some people have a really good vision, but they spend a lot of time focusing on where they don't want to go. They focus on all their problems in life. They focus on the so-called shit of life. And here's the problem. What you focus on, you attract. You do. Not like The Secret from 80 Miles. What you focus on, you move towards and you attract. So if you're out there focusing on where you don't want to go versus on where you do want to go, guess what you become? A giant magnet. You attract to you. That's what happens. I see I'm like, I get away from you. I don't want to be because you'll come to me too. Okay, so if you're one of these people when you have trouble focusing on where you want to go, you're always living in fear, give yourself a very low score. And if you don't have a vision at all, give yourself a low score. And what I'll teach you just a little bit today is something called bifurcated focus. It's how you learn to focus on your vision, but also scan the horizon for opportunities. You don't want to have laser vision because things come up very often. How you make your money in business is not how you thought you'd make it. Raise your hand if you agree. Yes? It's a fact. Opportunities present themselves as you're moving towards your vision, and you have these goals that serve as benchmarks along the way to see if you're moving in the right direction or the wrong direction. And what happens is this. If you're getting negative feedback, you say, I got to change my approach. And at the end of the day, though, that ability to focus where you want to go, it's like a ship. You'll end up getting there if you look in the direction of your focus.
Now I've got a really special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video, and how are you going to take action on it this week? When you schedule in what day, what time, and what place you're going to take action, you have a 91% chance of actually following through versus just a 35% chance if you just got motivated but never created a specific plan. And when you share your plan publicly and have some accountability, you increase your chances even further of actually following through. So I want to know your single biggest takeaway and your plan of action this week in the comments so I can celebrate you.
It doesn't matter how motivated you are, how much belief you have in yourself, how well you can manage your state. If you're doing things ass backwards, you're not going to succeed. So the idea is that when you do something, don't just do it, haphazardly. You need to have a formula. What a strategy is this? You do something once and you succeed, it could be an accident. You do it twice, you've got a strategy. The easiest way to develop a strategy for success is to model somebody else that's already successful. By modeling someone that was successful, you turn decades into days. Strategy is everything when it comes to success.
If you want to change your life for free in the next 30 days, check out my training right here below. Or if you want 10 more awesome rules from Jordan Belfort, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy them. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.